Here is how you add a quiz, which doesn't have to be a quiz, it can be anything, but add a quiz to Moodle. And the questions and everything. Please forgive me if I stumble a bit. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to go back through this. So click down at the bottom where it says Create Learning Activity, and you want to go to Quiz. Name it. Put any instructions you have for the student on here. You can have that display on the page if you like. You can, your due date is when it closes. As far as the rest of the stuff, you can go through and read what you'd like. It can be unlimited. You can have one or more tries, however you like. If you keep grades in Moodle, then you should be able to put, if it's a quiz or a regular assignment or lab or what there. If you want a new page for every question or every so many questions, you can do that here. If you want them to be able to go back at any point, then you can make the navigation method free, or if you want them to just go straight forward, then sequential. The question behavior, if you want it to shuffle your answers, if it's multiple choice or something, and you have to read through the different ones of these. You can look at the little question mark here, and it'll give you what they are. You can go to more help. I usually, well, with a lot of my labs, I put interactive with multiple tries. That way they can keep trying it over and over again, and it'll tell them if they got it right. I do that when I require them to type in the answer. Usually with multiple choice, I don't, because they could just, select one. If it's wrong, select the next, and so forth. So it just depends on what the majority of your assignment's going to be, what you want to use there. But read through the question mark, and it'll show you which ones, it'll tell you which one you want. Review options. If you want during the attempt for it to show whether it's correct or not. If you do, check this. When you're creating your questions, you can give specific feedback for each question or general feedback. You probably don't want it to tell them the right answer during the attempt, but if you do, you can check that. And then immediately after, I usually leave all those checked, but don't tell them the right answer until after the due date. That's just me. It's whatever you prefer. You can look through these. I don't usually do much more with this. If you want to add some overall feedback, you can there. If you need to restrict access to anybody, you can there. And if you want it to show you if they've completed it, you can say show activity complete when conditions are met. So like with a passing grade or something, but then you have to go up here and say that a passing grade is 60. And then you can tell it require passing, well, student must receive a grade to complete, and require passing to say that it's completed. It's up to you how you want to do that. Okay, so after you go through all those over here, then you want to click Save and Display. And it tells you no questions have been added. So this gives you the option here to edit the quiz. So you can go over here to where it says add and add a new question. You can use multiple choice, true, false, short answer, whatever you like here. There's even an option there's essay. There's even an option if you need them to upload some work for something or something written, you can select, I think it's drag and drop in onto image. There's several different things you can use here. For example, short answer. So give the question a name. Write something for the question. You can give general feedback. So say if they miss it, you can explain to them, give them some suggestions here on how to move forward, some hints or something. The answers, let's say our answer is 10 centimeters. We want to give them 100% for that. A lot of times in here, if they miss it, I'll give them some hints for how to fix it. Or I might say something like units, because sometimes they won't add the units there. But don't just write 10 centimeters here. Give every option you could possibly think of that they might answer, like 10 centimeters here, or 10 centimeters. Make sure you put 100% on this. And a lot of times in the question, I'll say something like answer up with or two decimal places and the units. For example, x.xx centimeters. So giving them an example of how to answer so that you don't get a billion different ways to answer and they don't start emailing you and saying, I know my answer's right and so forth. Hopefully they'll read this and see how to upload correctly, which would be this first one, but I still put in some others just in case. Okay, then you click Save Changes, and there's your first question. And if you want to add another one, let's say multiple choice. Put in the question, title, type something, and you've got your choices down here. So here's a choice. If that's the correct answer, you put 100. If this answer, well, that's feedback if you need to put something on there if they miss it. For the second answer, you can, whether it's 100, whether it's, no credit or partial credit or something like that, you can put that there and so forth. If you need more choices, you can click blank for 3 more choices. So you can put as many choices on here as you want to. Then it says, well, this is just telling them if it's right or not. Multiple tries. If you want it to not count off for each problem, every time they miss it, then you can click 0. And this is if you've done that interactive with multiple tries that I was talking about. So if you're letting them try over and over again, if you want a penalty, 0% would not give them a penalty for trying again. You could have it be a third off or a fourth off, however you want to do it. And you can give hints here if you like for their next try. Okay. Put your maximum grade here, usually 100 unless you go by points, and save it. And then you're done with that. Now let's say you want to edit the questions later. You click on the quiz itself, and oh, I made it close already. So if I need to change the due date, then go back through here. And now click on the quiz itself, not on the pencil. Attempt the quiz, and as you go through, you've got your different questions. You can edit them here. Okay? So you can go into edit, and it pulls back up that same screen where you created the question before. What if you want to repaginate or something like that? Oh, here's a point. If you want to create an override, like if somebody needs to turn it in late and you don't mind that, you can go to user overrides. You have to be clicked on the quiz itself and then select the admin over here. If you do it somewhere outside in Moodle, it won't take you to adding an override. So I can add an override for a student if I wanted. Back out in the course, if you need to look at your questions, you can go to Question Bank here. And there's the questions. And so here's one of the questions I added today. You can see they're all jumbled up in here, a mess. And there's all, I mean, depending on what transferred over when you copied your course will depend on how much you have in there. And you can change the category and stuff if you need to. Or if you want to create your questions from here, you can do that. You can go to categories. Well, I thought you could add a new one. Yeah, add a category, and you have to put a parent somewhere and change and to add the name of the category, and then you could go back to questions, choose the category you want to add it on. This is if you want your question bank to be more organized than mine, and create your questions under here. Then when you go to create your quiz, then you would, it gives you the option when you add a question to add from question bank. I'm trying to remember how to add more questions if you needed to do that. I know I've done it before. Oh, I think you can go, maybe that's it. Yeah. So we went to there and edit quiz, and you can add more questions later on if you need to. Okay, so hopefully that covers everything. If you have any more questions, let me know.